So this is the basis of weightlifting, um, and so we're going to go over how to get what you want out of weightlifting. And so in this video, I'm going to try and give you more just randomly riffing off the cuff than anybody has ever sold to anybody online in terms of exercise fitness, other than people like doing videos and being like, follow along, get with me, and they just kind of like the video like entrains you and keeps you moving for a certain amount of time. Like, those are great. That is a certain value, and then this is sort of like a intellectual mastery of the subject. Here you go, free, right? So what you're trying to do with weightlifting is put different systems of the body under strain, and then also figure out how to contract and relax those systems, right? So there's a couple of different systems, or there's a couple of different sheaths in the body that can be contracted or relaxed as it attaches to the weight, right? And people are going to call that the kinetic chain. So if you're going to be weightlifting or whatever, you want to stress the kinetic chain. Ideally to the point of a burn or a maximal pump, or you're going to want to get the system that you're trying to grow or develop or rehab. You're going to want to load that system with the movement. So right now I'm focusing on my forearms. And so I'm just using the weight to load and feel the muscular system in my forearms. Right, this is just if you're bodybuilding. Like, if you're bodybuilding, all you're doing when you're bodybuilding is focusing on the body. The exercise that you use to focus on the body, or the amount of weight that you use to focus on the body, does not matter. Right, so if you're just exercising for maximum pump fitness, and you're not looking to like set a world record on strength, like, you're going to get stronger, but like it literally has nothing to do with the exercise whatsoever. It's about the internal feel and the internal pump. Because why are you exercising? You're exercising to change basically the chemistry and the blood pressure in the body. That's the goal. So the whole time that you're working out, you should be focusing on the chemistry and the blood pressure and the tendon pressure in the body. So I'm just using this exercise, and right now I want to feel that tendon pressure, that tendon contraction. And so to a certain point, like picking up a bigger weight might make it easier, but you'll probably find something right in the middle is really what lets you, like, as I lift up, it puts as I lift this weight up kind of relaxed, I can feel my grip, and I can feel my forearms pulling on the weight, and I contract that, or I get it to kind of participate in the movement. Or really, if I'm trying to change the pH and I'm not worried about function, right? This is kind of inside out, right? Normally, when you're doing something, you're going to be worried about, what is the weight doing? What is my body doing? Like, what's the form? Where do I need to be? Right? That's a totally different activity than like bodybuilding or strength training. Even strength training, just training raw strength, right? Training raw strength is maximizing that body shift, that pH, and being able to tolerate that shift. Once you figure out how to actually fire all that stuff at once, because as we do this, as you push through it, you'll start to be able to fire all these different systems at the same time. Right, so when you're doing strength training, you'll see, oh, as I pull on the weight, like my hands are connected to my forearms, and so I'm feeling all that And since I'm strength training, I'm just using this motion to give resistance, or to give me something to push into, to give that flexation, that in and out, right? I'm kind of breathing into the tissue, which is in and out, which is a contraction and a relaxation. So I'm just using some motion, some repetitive contraction and relaxation motion to put my forearms under tension and contract them, right? And they'll start to burn, right? That burning is the metabolic system coming under contraction or coming under tension, right? As you get a burn, that's the cells, or whatever, however, the blood is coming under metabolic tension. That tension is a burn. It's the same way that if you bend over too far, you feel a burn. That's just sort of a breath tension. It's a universal breath tension. And so, again, I'm going to keep breathing into that. And the whole goal is just to keep breathing into it as long and as hard as you can, because you're kind of trying to inflate it like a balloon, or sculpt it or shape it. But mostly you're just trying to fill it with blood pressure, with blood awareness, right? So now I'm trying to use the motion to not just feel my forearms and my biceps, or not just my forearms, but okay, that tension starts to pull on the biceps. Right? And so I just find some movement pattern where, oh, how do I feel my triceps too? I kind of have to stay up here to really target them, right? You kind of target them, or spirals, twists, you can be creative. There. Right, so I'm just using to keep the muscles under tension, and then contract and relax them, which is breathing. And then if you do this like 10 to 30 times, you'll usually get a pump. And then when you do that, you'll see progress over time. And so you could do something like obviously targeted, but then obviously you can do these big motions once you have the coordination to feel all the muscular tension and kind of control it. You can start doing pretty big motions. And that can bring the whole body and all the muscle groups under tension all at the same time, right? Or you can isolate, sort of. And since all you're trying to do is apply tension to the muscle at the correct weight that allows you to grab that area metabolically and kind of push through the burn, relax into the burn, and gain control over the burn. And when that happens, you're gaining control over that metabolic energy, and you start to be able to release it all at once, right? People see that as vitality, chi, strength. It's your ability to push through that and breathe into and release and use that metabolic tension that you find, when you work out. And so you can use almost any weight, right? If it's way too heavy, just use a ton of momentum. Use whatever momentum you need to make the weight that perfect amount to target the area that you're trying to pump, that you're trying to feel, or you're trying to breathe into, or you're trying to recruit. And so depending on what weight you have, if you have nothing, or if you have something weird like a hammer, right? And then the super important ones are the back. And again, this is all for bodybuilding. This is all for strength training. So the whole focus, why am I doing this swing if I'm strength training? I'm trying to get a metabolic shift. Like I'm trying to apply so much pressure to my body through movement and weight that it actually pushes me or dips me into that pH shift, or that state where like I've used up all the air in my blood. I'm pulling on the air in my blood. But that's all that's, so if you're doing body weight stuff, okay, you want to do a hip exercise or a low back exercise, how do I put this movement, how do I make that tension fall into my hips? And then once I add that tension to my hips, can I contract it? There's no exercise that targets any particular muscle groups. Like you have to decide to make those muscles act. And so you have to feel that they're there to kind of be able to contract them. There's not a correct stance that's going to force you to engage, right? And being engaged is the only thing that makes any posture, any position correct. The entire thing of alignment, posture, it's all bullshit. It's entirely bullshit. It's just skeletal, muscular, mental engagement, and the ability to sense where the water of the body is, and to keep the skeleton inside of that, where it's like not strained. So athletes call that moving fluidically, right? It's keeping the skeleton feeling where the water of the body wants to go, and staying with that no matter where it happens to go. And this is where reaction speeds and stuff come from. And so you can just feel that. And when you're feeling that, I go, oh, that person has fluidic movement. And then so once you dial in on this, you can do any sort of routine fitness video, anybody that keeps you moving with simple repetitive movements over and over, and then you use the 20, 30, or 40 minutes to, you sit there and you're using whatever exercise they give you to target in and find different systems that you can load. So that's everything from the muscles themselves to, as you get going, you start to feel that you put tension into your cardiovascular system. And then you push into that the exact same way that you flex a muscle. People call that will, strength. So if you had 80-pound weights, you can still swing them up and apply the best tension possible to you. Or if they're way too light, like, just be explosive. But yeah, so the hack throws out all the stuff is that you're using the exercise to change your body chemistry. So you can target that in isolation, and there's different pockets of body chemistry, and there's different circulatory systems, and there's different fascial grids. There's your tendon system. You can load your tendon system, which means the muscular system has to relax, or the muscular system has to learn to work with the tendon system. Or the gel, the intracellular matrix of the gel can also go under tension and compression. So you can expand cellularly against weight or whatever else. So there's all these different kind of tension systems, and then they all have metabolisms that can be put under tension through taxing the cardiovascular system. And that's all that's going on. You just look at that. Like whatever you choose to do for 30 to 45 minutes, just study the tension levels in the body. Is the spin bike making your legs stay under this constant tension? Is the blood coming under tension? And is the heart coming under tension? And then you're feeling that tension, and then eventually that tension becomes a muscle. Right? Once you fall into that tension, you can tense it more or relax it. So then there's another breath and there's another muscle. And yeah, so pretty much anything you do, if you understand that, is going to work.